Welcome back, everyone. As you can probably guess from the title of the video, we have some good news for you today. We have an update in the case known as Mock v. Garland, which is also known as one of the pistol brace cases that is going through the court system and headed on up to the Supreme Court. At least that's my guess anyway as to what will happen. And this one here is coming out of the Fifth Circuit. And basically, it is good news for every single pistol brace owner in America. Bottom line up front, what does it do? It vacates the pistol brace rule. What does that mean for everyone at home? It means that if you own one of these, regardless of where you live in America, regardless of any affiliations that you may have with different organizations, right now you can legally possess, own, use, etc. your pistol brace and your braced firearms as you see fit right now, because what it means to vacate a rule, just real quick, is that essentially we're going back to square one, and it means that essentially the pistol brace rule, legally speaking, has essentially never existed in America, and we're going back to pre-2023, where there was no such thing as a pistol brace rule, and braced pistols were legal everywhere for everyone. So that is the bottom line up front. However, there obviously are details going into this case that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. This case is, again, Mock v. Garland, which is a Firearms Policy Coalition ruling. Sorry about the wind if that's coming through on the microphone. I'm trying to get this in before the storm rolls in here tonight. But it doesn't mean that this is over, unfortunately. So before we get into all those details, we do need to thank the main sponsor of today's video. Of course, that is going to be Brownells. They have braces at Brownells, lots of braces. Anything you need to install braces, to build AR pistols, all of those sorts of things, optics, lights, suppressors. Brownells has all of those, as well as all of your gunsmithing supplies. So again, big thanks to the folks at Brownells for sponsoring the channel, helping bring this content to you in the age of demonetization and censorship. Speaking of censorship, this is going to be a Mug Club video. So we're going to do this video here for free for everyone on Mug Club, on YouTube and Rumble, and then we're going to head over to Mug Club, and we're going to discuss a disturbing story coming out of San Antonio, where a police officer has stolen valuable firearms from a gun buyback, quote unquote, that the San Antonio Police Department did. And we're going to talk about what happened to him and what should happen to him. And then additionally, we are going to take your viewer questions like we do every week over there on Mug Club. If you guys are interested in Mug Club, where we can make censorship-free content and we don't have to not show you guys how to install things and all of those other nonsensical things that YouTube does, definitely check out the link here on your screen. Additionally, there should be a coupon code that will get you guys a free month of Mug Club over there. It's not just myself. There are many other creators, including Steven Crowder, Alex Jones, the Hodge twins, Nick DiPaolo, Brian Callen, and probably folks that I cannot remember off the top of my head. And with that, let's get into the ruling. So the ruling itself is only 12 pages long. There will be a link down below for you guys to check it out if you guys are interested in reading all of the details. I'm basically just going to go over the analysis here that Judge Reed O'Connor put into this ruling. Reed O'Connor, for folks who don't know, is like, I guess, top 3 judges in America, in my opinion. He's one who's actually literate, which tends to be a rarity today in the United States court system for some reason. I don't know why they can't read things and then interpret things, but Judge Reed O'Connor can do that. Him and Judge Benitez have been doing a good job of this on different ends of the United States for a few years now. So basically the analysis, it says here, I'm not gonna read the whole thing again, guys, we're just gonna sum it up for you. In their motion for summary judgment, the plaintiff claims that the final rule violated the APA, which is the Administrative Procedures Act, which limits what executive agencies can do without Congress actually passing a law. So what they're saying here is that the ruling itself, which basically turned every single braced pistol, which again, for folks who are new here, there are, depending on the estimate of where you actually read, somewhere between 7 and 25 million braced firearms that are legally owned in America. And most of the folks who own them don't watch YouTube, don't watch Rumble, and have no idea that any of this happened, whereas this rule, if it was to go into effect in 2023, which it did for a brief period of time before it was challenged, again, made people into felons for owning these firearms overnight, subject to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. So that is what the ATF and the Department of Justice were trying to do when passing this brace rule. So for example, just a real quick one for you, this right here, this setup would have been illegal because it had a scope on it. So a scope and a brace made it a felony to own without going through the NFA, or the National Firearms Act process. That is what they were trying to do with this rule. Again, as they said here, it violates the Administrative Procedures Act because it just went too far, and Congress did not pass a bill in any sort of way to authorize the Department of Justice to go ahead and do this. Now, getting back to it, why did it do it? Because one, It was not a logical outgrowth of the proposed rule. So initially, when they proposed the rule, if you guys go back on my channel, you can see we went through it, and basically there was a point system. And essentially, if you had so many points, you were good. If you had more than so many points, you were bad and committing a felony. Well, of course, people commented on that over at the Department of Justice's website, and because of the comments and were so overwhelmingly against that system, the ATF said, oh, I guess we can't do that, or I guess the Department of Justice rather, said we can't do that. And then they created a completely different rule where, according to this ruling and according to this lawsuit, over 99% of braced firearms in America would be considered short barrel rifles or short barreled shotguns. It would be a violation, and again, you would be committing a felony. So it was not a logical outgrowth of the proposed rule, so that is one reason why it violates the APA. Additionally, the defendants acted arbitrarily when they failed to consider important aspects of the problems presented and caused by the final rule. Again, like I just mentioned, tens of thousands of comments were submitted and pointing out why this was simply not okay, unacceptable, not legal, etc., which is absolutely true. And the defendants, again, the defendants are the Department of Justice or the United States. In this case, defendants impermissibly extended their statutory authority under the National Firearms Act of 1934, quote unquote, the NFA, the Gun Control Act of 1968, and number 4, it violates various aspects of the United States Constitution. Absolutely correct. So what they're saying there is that the National Firearms Act, which is what created short barrel rifles, made silencers require a stamp. Basically, the authority given to them under the National Firearms Act that they violated, which is absolutely true. The Gun Control Act, very similar. I mean, it's different legislation, obviously, but in no way does the 1968 Gun Control Act say that this piece of rubber and polymer turns your firearm into a short barrel rifle, thereby making you guilty of felony, again, which is exactly what this is trying to do. And then we're going to skip down to the end and let you guys know what just happened. And right here at the end, it says conclusion for the reasons set out above, which again, there will be a link if you guys want to read all of the reason. The court grants plaintiff's motion, which again is Firearms Policy Coalition, for summary judgment. Skip down to the end, denies plaintiff's request for permanent injunction and vacates the final rule. And if you go read through the whole thing, they don't issue a permanent injunction because essentially there are several different cases which are working their way up to the Supreme Court, and instead they just vacate it. So what that means, again, for somebody who's not an attorney, is that it means essentially the final rule never existed, which is why every single person in America now can freely use their brace without having to be a member of an organization, which is what the case was before, because they were giving injunction or injunctive relief to different organizations and different people who were suing. Again, in this case, that is not what they're doing. So that is where we are at. And just kind of a brief timeline, it is the 13th of June. There's going to be a big case going before the Fifth Circuit, which is going to be broadcast publicly, by the way. If you guys actually want to watch it, you can. It should be a good time because the Department of Justice is going to get stomped by several different folks. Basically, every good gun rights group is going to be part of this. And right now, there's supposedly 5 different cases, and this was one of them, and now that this has been vacated, I'm not sure if it will be, but at least 4 other cases will be going before the Fifth Circuit on, again, August 5th, and it's going to be broadcast on live television. If you guys want to watch it, it should be hilarious. I will not be covering it live, that is for sure. I have other things to do, but that is where we are at, folks. Again, this is set to go before the Fifth Circuit. The brace rule in various different challenges, because lots of different organizations are challenging it from different angles. Bottom line is, guys, this thing is completely unconstitutional. The Department of Justice has absolutely no legal way to do what they're trying to do, which again is to turn 10, maybe 25 million law-abiding citizens into felons overnight with a rule that was in no way passed by Congress, signed by the president, all of the different things that laws are supposed to do. This in no way went through that process, and again is being thrown out. So that is it. That is what you guys need to know. Again, link will be down below. If you guys like this type of video and you're not subscribed, definitely hit the subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot of news like this over the next year or two. I can pretty much guarantee it. Additionally, I broke this story on my social media when it came out this morning. So if you guys want to have the latest breaking news and all of the other things that we post on social media, which get a little crazy, particularly on the non-meta platforms, which is where I recommend you guys follow me. Twitter, Truth, Telegram, those are the best. Follow me at all of those places. If you guys have to follow me on Meta, it is what it is. I post there. I just can't post as much because of the censorship that we get. Speaking of censorship, if you guys are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell on YouTube, and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, you are being censored from my content by an algorithm. To get around that, you can sign up for my email list at the website here on your screen. This email goes out once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous month's email went out. So that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, daily deals. If we have deals on braces, which there has been some good ones lately, deals on optics, ammo, guns, etc. If any of those things happen, they will go out in my daily deals email. It has 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If the item is in my email on that particular day, it's the cheapest that I know of anywhere on the internet for that particular item, because I've already done the price comparison for you. So that way it saves you guys some time and saves you some money. And with that, that's all I got for you. It's a good news story. I like bringing you guys good news, and hope to see you guys in the next video.